Hello, so my name is Sasha. I'm a freelance artist and I suffer of a neurological disability, epilepsy. So basically what that means is I have overactive electricity on my brain. My seizures are quite calm, so it sort of looks like I just fainted. And obviously depending on how severe the seizure was, obviously that affects the recovery period. So 4 years ago, October, I had my first seizure as I pulled into my garage. I got the feeling that I was quite tired and I just rested my head on the passenger seat and I just laid across my groceries and I passed out. I lose bladder control, so that happened, and obviously when I regained consciousness, I thought I had like a panic attack, or I wasn't sure what happened. I had about 9 seizures, and then I went to hospital, went to the emergency unit. Then I got my diagnosis that I was epileptic, and then you just sort of feel like the world is falling apart because feels like a death sentence, and it's not, but at the time obviously it's quite a shock. And obviously since then I've had lots of lifestyle changes so that you can manage the condition and the seizures as well as you can. So Celeste, Botha, she's actually my flatmate as well, roomie. I spoke to her 2.5 years ago, maybe even 3, I don't know. I just mentioned it to her, and the idea of doing a piece about it, using theatre and dance and art as a medium to help people connect with it in more of a human manner. May 2020 we had the theatre booked and we were gonna go into rehearsal process end of March. But then lockdown of course happened and the entire thing got scrapped. I kind of thought that it was never going to happen, and then we got lucky, we got funding, and now
but that something else can only take over if you push yourself physically. If you take yourself there physically to that point, then you'll see something will start to happen. You know, if it's off axis, then it's off axis. If it's up to the ceiling, then it's up to the ceiling. Do you know what I mean?
Celeste contacted Mdu, and Mdu came on board and they directed the process together as well. So my piece, Not Blood But Bond, was inspired by my relationship with my little sister. She's my non-biological sister, so it doesn't surround her story or anything like that. It was just an inspiration, and I wanted to explore that in a very broad spectrum. I've been surrounded by a lot of women in my life, specifically at this time in my life where having that type of sisterly bond or something or someone in that capacity holding space for you, and then having my little sister along with that as well, like it felt relevant. And then when I spoke to the cast, I obviously needed them to be able to relate to it as well, and it just gelled and it resonated with them. And there's a lot of physical contact, and sort of you'll notice things in lines all the time and doing things in unison, which is just a plain way of showing connection. So that's what that work is about. It's been really cool to be able to work with Jamie, Tammy and Tyra, and have artists who work really hard and who are fully invested. So I've been very fortunate to work with them, and we had lots of fun, and I think we gelled very well together. It's been a real privilege to be able to be the 4 of us to be in the studio together. So just to touch on Woodside Special Care Centre in Rondebosch East, it's a centre for profoundly intellectually and physically disabled residents. And on top of that, more than 60% of them suffer of epilepsy as well. So it's so severe that some of them even wear helmets because they see so often they collapse, and it's to prevent sort of becoming concussed or getting several knocks to the head. So yeah, it's obviously I have a far more subtle version of what they're experiencing. And I was approached by them to speak at their epilepsy awareness event. And I did a performance with one of my friends, and then afterwards I spoke about my experience and my diagnosis and kind of what I spoke to you guys about. Yeah, so it's really cool to be able to do this and bring awareness to what they're doing, and obviously to join the global discussion about epilepsy and be a small part of it. Well, yes, I do believe that we are more in tune to ourselves physically, but also on a spiritual level. I do believe that artists, it's not even something that you have to think about. It just happens. There's something that allows space for you to connect with yourself on a deeper level, and because of that I understand what's going on with myself. So a lot of people have told me like, no, that's not a thing, that's not happening, and that's fine, but I know it is happening to my body. I can feel it. I'm very, very deeply in tune to what's happening to myself on all levels. So it definitely has affected my dancing, and that doesn't mean that I can't reach my peak or be where I need to be. It's just I take a bit longer, and obviously if I have a seizure, then I sort of take 10 steps back and I have to repair all of that and get back to where I was. So that is something that's been very difficult to deal with, and you sort of go through a conversation with yourself about you being less than what you were, being less strong, and then you start feeling sorry for yourself, and then you're like, oh, I'm so resilient, I'm okay, I'm so strong, and then so it's quite like a roller coaster, but I'm still here and I'm still doing it, and that in itself I'm quite grateful for. So yeah, let's see, I'm gonna keep pushing, let's see what happens. I feel like you guys are real really, like with some of the parts in my... Hello! I'm here! I am here! And where's the choreographer? Guys, this is weird.
Just must we play background music?
Okay, cool. I'm scared I'm gonna laugh.
So
It's fun.
I think I am gonna laugh.
anything goes. I think, so far.
But you'll just cut him.
No, if it suits the...
No, I'm gonna laugh because I'm talking at a camera. This is what you do like when you're an influencer, right? You talk to a camera. Nobody in the room. Okay, cool.